Okay. So a very good afternoon everyone. थोड़ा सा एक हर्डल था, टेक्निकल इशू था, now it's solved. So let's start the unit 2, but before unit 2 we should have a self assessment test for unit 1, second part, what we have discussed in the Friday class, right? तो पहले उसको डिस्कस करते हैं बच्चों. So let's have a short revision of second part of unit number 1. Okay. So what we have discussed in the previous class, we have discussed offer. Offer means a person is said to make a proposal when he signifies to another his willingness to do or abstain from doing anything with a view to obtaining the assent of that other to such act or abstinence. Types of offer: the general offer, specific offer, cross offer, counter offer, standing offer. General offer means when offer is made to public at large. A specific offer means offer made to a specific person. Cross offer means when two offers made at the same point of time. Counter offer means conditional acceptance. Standing or open offer means the general offer with time limitation. What are the legal rules? The offer must not be a social one. It must be to create a legal relationship. It must be certain, definite, and unambiguous. It must be communicated to the person, to the offeree. It must be made with the view to obtain the consent of the offeree. Offer may be conditional, but acceptance never be conditional. I have discussed with you. Because if acceptance is conditional, it is the counter offer, right? It must not contain a term, the non-compliance of which amounts acceptance. Offer may be specific, general, may be express, implied. Offer must be different from invitation to offer, price list. And statement of price is not an offer. What about acceptance means yes. What are the legal rules? It must be absolute and unqualified, means unconditional. It must be communicated to the offerer. It should be in the prescribed mode. It should be within the prescribed time limit. If time limit is not prescribed, it should be within the reasonable time. And what is the reasonable time depends upon situation to situation. Silence is not an acceptance. Acceptance may be expressed or implied. Communication of offer, remember date 1, 3, 7, and 10. Communication of offer is completed when it comes to the knowledge of the person to whom it is made. That is the भैया ये प्लीज म्यूट कीजिए. कौन है बैठे? ये आशीष जी म्यूट कीजिए. Communication of acceptance is completed against the offerer when it is put into the course of transmission to him so as to be out of the power of acceptor to withdraw the same. As against the acceptor when it comes to knowledge of the proposer. Communication of special conditions printed on the back of ticket, receipt, etc., whether in the knowledge of passenger or not, will be accepted by the passenger. Exceptions: in the following cases, acceptor will not be liable. Three conditions hai. Conditions are contained in the document which is delivered after the contract is complete. Condition limiting the right of acceptor are not brought to the notice of acceptor. Document does not give reasonable notice on the face that it contains some certain special conditions. Revocation of offer and acceptance. I told you in the last class that a direct question may be created on this topic for about 4, 5, or 6 marks. By communication of notice, by lapse of time if not accepted in the time. Non-fulfillment of condition, if condition is attached with the offer. Death or insanity of the offerer. When counter offer is made, then original offer lapse. If an offer is not accepted according to the mode prescribed, we have already discussed if the law is changed after making the offer. Okay, so please prepare this sheet for your self-assessment. First question before you. Which of the following is not the legal requirement of a valid offer? It must be communicated to the offeree. It must be made with a view to obtain the offeree's assent. It must express offer's final willingness. It must be made to specific, not to public at large. The answer is because offer may be general or may be public. Sir, this is self-assessment test. Please listen, everyone. You need not to send me the answers. Please ask relevant queries. A general offer of a continuing nature can be accepted by the first 100 people, the first 10 people, any number of persons until it is retracted. One person only who first accepts the offer. The answer is general offer can be accepted by one person only who first accept the offer. After that, offer will be end. The term acceptance in legal terms is defined in Section 2A, Section 2B, Section 2I, Section 2F. Answer is Section 2, Clause B. Which of the following is not the legal requirement of a valid acceptance? Not the legal requirement. It must be communicated. It must be absolute and unconditional. It must be accepted by the person who has the authority to accept. It must be presumed from the silence if not communicated within the specified time. The answer is D. Acceptance cannot be presumed from silence, right? A by letter dated 25th December 2020 offers to sell his house to B for rupees 50 lakh. The letter reaches to B on 27 December 2020, who posts his acceptance on 28 December 2020, which reaches A on 30th December 2020. In this case, the communication of offer is complete on 25th December, 27 December, 28 December, 30th December. The answer is when it reaches to the offer. An offer may be revoked by the offerer at any time before the letter of acceptance is posted by the acceptor, received by the offerer, read by the offerer, none of the above. The answer is posted by the acceptor. The legal rule relating to revocation of acceptance is that it can be revoked at any time before the communication of its acceptance is complete against the acceptor, the offerer, acceptor's family, offerer's family. The answer is acceptor. A space is one which is made to public at large. Specific offer, general offer, public offer, universal offer. The answer is general offer. Where the time is fixed for acceptance of the offer and it is not accepted within the fixed time, then the offer automatically lapses on the expiry of the fixed time. Offer can be accepted by paying penalty. Offeree loses the right to become a party to content in future. Offer lapse but only with the permission of court. The answer is A. Last question. The person making the offer is known as offerer or promiser, and to whom the offer is made is known as acceptor, acceptor for owner, offeree or promisee, contracting parties. भैया इसको थोड़ा सा करेक्शन कर लो, इसमें ये चीज नहीं आएगी. The answer is C, right? So this was your self-assessment test. Now the time to start unit number 2, consideration. Sakshi saying 10 on 10, good. Ujjwal saying all are rights, good. नेहा 6 वाला एक्सप्लेन कर दीजिए. 6 क्वेश्चन क्या था, एक बार मैं देखता हूँ. 1 मिनट दीजिए बेटा मुझे. An offer may be revoked by the offerer at any time before the letter of acceptance is posted. Remember date number 7, right? नेहा 7th याद है. सर नंबर 2 और 3 क्वेश्चन दिखा दीजिए बेटा, मुझे दोबारा चेंज करनी पड़ेगी सेटिंग. चलिए, सेकंड क्वेश्चन क्या था? A general offer of a continuing nature can be accepted by one person. ये ठीक था. Third question, the term of acceptance is defined section 2 clause B, right? And Trilok 7 marks. Saloni sir 10 on 10, very good. Ashwini 8 on 10, very good. So let's start the topic consideration. ठीक है, consideration. But before starting the topic formally, I just want to share the concept of consideration. दो चार बातें हैं इसके बारे में, जितना जल्दी सीख जाओगे ये टॉपिक पूरा क्लियर हो जाएगा. कंसिडरेशन मीन्स समथिंग इन रिटर्न. हिंदी में बोलते हैं इसको प्रतिफल. समथिंग इन रिटर्न. Something in return, right? For example, I have taken a contract. Suppose I offer Mr. X, will you purchase my car? Will you purchase my car? Will you purchase my car for 10 lakh, for 2 lakh rupees? And he says, okay, sir. In this case, I am giving my car, and what I'm getting in return, I'm giving my car, and what I'm getting in return is 2 lakh rupees. So what I am getting in return is consideration for me. What I am getting is consideration for me. So for me, consideration is 2 lakh. And what is the consideration for Mr. X is the car. Clear है इतनी बात? Now consideration may be for doing something, in the form of doing something, maybe in the form of abstaining from doing something. Suppose I will give you 500 rupees if you work for me. I will give you rupees 500 if you work for me. It means I am giving the consideration. I am giving the consideration for doing something. But if suppose I ask Mr. X, that I will give you 500 rupees if you do not file the case against me. If you do not file the case against me, so it means the consideration is abstaining from doing something. Clear इतनी बात? तो come to the definition. Consideration means something in return. Section 2 clause D defines the consideration, according to which when at the desire of promisor, the promisee or any other person has done or abstained from doing something, such act or abstinence or promise is called consideration for the promise. When at the desire of promisor, in which case contract with me and Mr. X, वही मैं डिस्कस कर रहा था आपसे. If on my part, if I ask Mr. X, will you purchase my car? So it means I am making the offer. I am the promiser, and the Mr. X is the promisee. So what Mr. Promisee will provide, what is the consideration for me, should be decided by me only. What is the consideration for me should be decided by me only. So what its definition says, when at the desire of promiser. It means at my desire. Consideration should be at my desire. मेरी इच्छा पर consideration मिलेगा मुझे. The promisee. Now the consideration from the promisee, it means from Mr. X, or in place of Mr. X, some other one is submitting the consideration and I am receiving, it is valid consideration. It means consideration may be by the promisee or by any other person on his behalf. May be by the promisee or any other person on that behalf. Has done or abstained. It means the consideration may be in the form of doing or may be abstained, and such act or abstinence or promise is called a consideration. Right? Any doubt on this definition, बच्चों? यहां तक कोई डाउट? सर कंसिडरेशन वन साइडेड हो सकता है क्या? कंसिडरेशन मीन्स समथिंग रिटर्न. first I am providing, then what I am getting, it is the consideration. तो वन साइडेड नहीं हो सकता, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट वन साइड कंसेशन हो सकता है, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट फॉर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट विदाउट कंसेशन हो सकता है, बट कंसिडरेशन वन साइडेड नहीं, राइट. सो व्हाट आर द एलिमेंट्स ऑफ कंसिडरेशन, अगर हम शॉर्ट में जाएं तो it should be at promise or desire, it may be by the promisee or any other person, it may be in the form of act or abstinence, it may be in the form of promise in exchange. See, consideration may be an act that is doing of something. For example, A guarantees B for payment of price of goods which B wanted to sell on 1 month credit to C. Here selling of goods on credit by B to C is the consideration for A. A ने guarantee दिया B को. A has given the guarantee for the payment of the price कि भैया आप goods बेच दो C को 1 महीने की उधारी पर, and if he will not pay, I will pay. So what A is getting in return of his promise, that is the selling of goods by B to C. See the example number 2. A colleges promises students for the job in MNC, all who will score above 95%. It means college entered into the contract. College entered into the contract with the students, providing that if you will secure 95% above marks, we will provide the job. So this is again the in this case, what is the consideration? Here the promise for recruitment of candidates will be considered a consideration, right? One more thing, consideration may be in the form of abstinence or forbearance. Example number 3. C promises his debtor D. C promises his debtor D not to file a suit against him if he agrees to pay rupees 10,000 or more on the principal amount. तो अगर आप मुझे ज्यादा पैसा दोगे तो मैं आपके अगेंस्ट, सर मैं आपको सी ने प्रॉमिस किया अपने डेटर पर कि अगर आप मुझे 10,000 रुपए ज्यादा दोगे तो मैं आपके खिलाफ केस फाइल नहीं करूंगा. तो दिस एब्स्टिनेंस इज ऑल्सो द कंसिडरेशन, एंड कंसिडरेशन मे बी इन द फॉर्म ऑफ रिटर्न प्रॉमिस. Return profit means promise in return of promise. See, A promises to maintain B's child and B promises to pay A rupees 1,000 yearly for that purpose. A ने B से क्या कहा कि आप मेरे बच्चे का ध्यान रखिए, मैं आपको 1,000 रुपए साल का पेमेंट करूं. This is the return promise, right? Now come to the legal rules. So before starting this topic, please share any doubt, any query. सर कंसीडरेशन कंपलसरी होता है क्या? If you attended the first lecture in which we have discussed the definition of agreement, section 2 clause E, in which what we have discussed you कि any promise, when the promise will convert into the agreement when it is supported by consideration. So consideration is must. The contract without consideration is void, but some exceptions are there. We will discuss in today's class, okay? But in normal case, contract without consideration is perfectly void, right? तो इस यूनिट में से कितने मार्क्स का क्वेश्चन बन सकता है? लिसन एवरीवन, क्वेश्चन जो आपके एग्जाम में आते हैं अबाउट 2 मार्क्स, 3 मार्क्स, 4 मार्क्स, 5 मार्क्स, 6 मार्क्स, ठीक है, वो कहीं से भी बन सकता है. एग्जामिनर इज मच एक्सपर्ट. जो पेपर आपका सेट कर रहा है वो एक्सपर्ट है, तो उसकी आप चिंता ना करो कितने मार्क्स का क्वेश्चन बनेगा, कुछ भी आ सकता है, छोड़ना तो कुछ है ही नहीं. सो लीगल रूल्स रिगार्डिंग कंसिडरेशन. फर्स्ट इज consideration must move from the promise, must move at the desire of the promiser. An act done at the desire of third party is not consideration. Suppose in the example what I have discussed, selling of car by to Mr. X. I asked Mr. X, will you purchase my car for 1 lakh rupees? He said, okay, yes, sir. But at the time of delivery of car and on that date, he will make the payment. Some third person, Mr. Y, asked Mr. X, okay, Mr. X, you need not to give the 1 lakh rupees. I am assuring you, you have to give only 80,000 rupees. मैंने जब कांटेक्ट किया मिस्टर एक्स से, तो एक्स ने कि 1 लाख में मैं कार बेचूंगा उनको, वो मुझे 1 लाख रुपए पे करेंगे. ओके हो गया. जब ड्यू डेट थी, तो जब एट द टाइम ऑफ ड्यू डेट, मिस्टर एक थर्ड पर्सन मिस्टर वाई ने एक्स को बोला, भैया एक्स, 1 लाख देने की जरूरत नहीं है, 80,000 दे दो, काम हो जाएगा. बट क्या ये वैलिड माना जाएगा? नो. कंसिडरेशन शुड बी एट द डिजायर ऑफ प्रोमिस. मैंने प्रॉमिस किया था मैं आपको डिलीवरी दूंगा कार की, बदले में जो कंसिडरेशन होगा, जब कॉन्टेक्ट हो गया, वो शुड बी एट माई डिजायर. राइट. सर एग्जाम के लिए क्वेश्चन बैंक मिलेगा क्या? सर आप प्लीज डाउनलोड कीजिए स्टडी मॉड्यूल, डाउनलोड कीजिए मॉडल टेस्ट पेपर्स, डाउनलोड कीजिए सजेस्टेड आंसर. ये इतने क्वेश्चन से आप उससे बाहर पेपर आएगा ही नहीं, चाकर भी नहीं आ सकता पेपर आपको उससे बाहर, सब कुछ तो कवर्ड हो गया. नाउ द पॉइंट इज consideration from promisee or any other person. The famous case चिनाय वर्सेस रमैया. एक कुछ मिनट के लिए बस पॉज ले रहा हूं बच्चों, 1 मिनट के लिए बस, जब तक आप रीडिंग करिए इसे. So first you understand the concept of case, then we will come on the provisions. एक old lady has made a gift of her property to her daughter with the direction to pay certain sum of money to the maternal uncle Mani Mama ji by the way of annuity. It means an old lady has transferred in the form of gift all her property to her daughter with the promise of daughter that daughter will pay annual amount to his maternal uncle. मामा जी को वो एक हर साल कुछ amount देगी. Right. On the same date, daughter executed in writing in favor of the brother of his mother यानी uncle agreeing to pay annuity. Daughter ने भी वो agreement sign कर दिया. But on the date of payment, the daughter did not make the payment by saying that if I give in the annuity annual sum to my uncle, what I am getting in return. If I am receiving nothing as a consideration from the uncle, so the contract was invalid. Was invalid and I am not liable to make the payment. एक ओल्ड लेडी ने अपनी सारी प्रॉपर्टी अपनी बेटी को दे दी और साथ में कहा, बेटा मैं तुम्हें प्रॉपर्टी तो दे रही हूँ, लेकिन तुम्हें करना क्या है, अपनी तुम्हें हर साल एक अमाउंट अपने मामा जी को पे करना है इसके एवज में. बेटी ने कहा ओके. उसने कांटेक्ट किया अपने मामा जी से कि मैं आपको हर साल एक अमाउंट पे करूंगी. जब पेमेंट की डेट आई तो डॉटर ने कहा कि मैं तो पेमेंट करूंगी, पर बदले में मुझे मामा जी से क्या मिल रहा है, मुझे कुछ नहीं मिल रहा. तो ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट क्या हो गया? विदाउट कंसिडरेशन एंड हेंस दिस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट इज वॉइड. बट व्हाट कोर्ट डिसाइडेड कि कंसिडरेशन में बी डायरेक्ट और मे बी इनडायरेक्ट. कंसिडरेशन may move from the promisee or some other person. If you have received the consideration other than promisee, then promisee will be discharged from the liability and rights will be there. अगर मैं छोटा सा एग्जांपल जो मैं डिस्कस कर रहा था आपसे अभी कॉन्टेक्ट विद एक्स वाला, if I am entered in a contract with Mr. X to sell my car for 1 lakh rupees and payment is done by Mr. Y on the behalf of X and I received the payment. Now I am liable to transfer the car. I cannot say that I am not receiving anything from Mr. X, then why I'm liable to make the delivery of car. Clear me baat? So this was the famous case of Chinaya versus Ramaya. The consideration may proceed from the promisee or any other person who is not a party to the contract. In other words, a stranger to consideration may be there but not stranger to contract. अगर कंसिडरेशन में किसी का जिक्र है स्ट्रेंजर का, डायरेक्ट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट नहीं हुआ है, तो वो थर्ड पार्टी कैन क्लेम द कंसिडरेशन, राइट? जितने लोग हैंड रेज कर रहे हैं, प्लीज लिसन. We will allow to ask your queries at the end of the session, today's session. But before it, if you have any query, please send on the chat box. Right? Any doubt in these 2 points? Tell me. कोई डाउट है किसी को इन 2 पॉइंट्स पर? विश्वास बोलिए, क्या क्वेरी है आपकी? लिख के बोलिए बेटा, चैट बॉक्स में भेजिए क्या क्वेरी है आपकी. Sir, why not stranger to contract? I have discussed the example now. If I entered into contact with Mr. X, then how I can claim anything from this contract? अगर मैंने कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक्स से किया है तो वाई क्लेम नहीं कर सकता, वाई उसको टर्म्स को डिसाइड नहीं कर सकता. एग्रीड? फर्स्ट वाला सर, स्ट्रेंजर टू कंसेशन हो सकता है बट स्ट्रेंजर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट नहीं हो सकता, राइट? फर्स्ट पॉइंट में क्या डिस्कस किया था मैंने आपसे? कंसिडरेशन मस्ट मूव एट द डिजायर ऑफ प्रॉमिस, यानी कि who will decide the consideration according to the promiser, right? I have already explained. Listen everyone, I am, if I using the Hindi in some point of time, I am just repeating what I have discussed in English only, right? So that it will be helpful for the students who are from Hindi medium. I am not giving anything extra in Hindi, right? So please read once again this example Chinaya versus Ramaya. What is the, please read the example 6. This example is although self-explaining, but I also give the explanation. I am repeating this example. The old lady has transferred all her property. The old lady transferred all her property to the daughter as a gift with the promise of the daughter that she will make the annual payment to his maternal uncle. But at the time of payment, the daughter has denied. Daughter has denied to make the payment on the basis of the words, that's what I will receive, what I am receiving in return. So the contract with with my uncle is without consideration and I'm not liable to make the payment. But what court said? Court said that you have not receiving anything from your uncle, but you already received from your mother. So that is the indirect consideration for you, and you are liable to make the payment. First point, the consideration should be as per the promise. Suppose I entered into contract to sell my car for 2 lakh rupees to Mr. X. Then consideration is 2 lakhs. If third person is saying that to Mr. X that Mr. X, you need not to make the payment of 2 lakh, you can payment that 1.5 lakh. So it will be sufficient? No, because consideration should be decided by the promise. Clear? Consideration may be present or may be future. Suppose consideration may be present means consideration is received at the time of contract. Consideration is received at the time of contract. And future consideration means consideration will be received in the future. It means after the date of contract. See the example number 7. A pays rupees 5,000 to B and B promises to deliver to him a certain quantity of wheat within a month. What is the example? Ki A and B entered into a contract by which A is paying 5,000 to B and B is making the promise that he will supply the certain quantity of wheat in 1 month. So at that time of making the contract, B is receiving his consideration. B is receiving his consideration, and it means A is making the payment of consideration at present at the time of contract. So the amount which is paid by the A and which is received by the B is the present consideration, and the delivery of the wheat is the future consideration. Delivery of the wheat is the future consideration because this delivery will be made after the date of contract. Any doubt in this point? Executed present and future consideration. Okay, now the topic is past consideration. It means consideration received before the date of contract. Now you will say, sir, how is it possible? How the consideration can be received before the contract? जब contract ही नहीं हुआ तो consideration कैसे मिलेगा? See the example number 8. A teaches B at his desire. After a week, B promised to pay fee of rupees 2,000. A can sue for B for recovering the promised money. One more example. I can elaborate this example. Suppose Ujjwal comes to me and says, sir, I have the attempt of CA Foundation in the January, and I am weak in law. So I need your help or your guidance in the law. Can you teach me? But I have no money. So he came to me in the month of September, and I have providing the guidance. I have provided the guidance to him in the month of September and October. And in the January, when he was appeared in the exam, he found that his law exam was very good. So in the month of February, he uh, he asked me, sir, I will make you the payment of fees of 5,000. Sir, I will make you the payment of fees of 5,000. The contract was entered with me and Ujjwal in the month of February. In the month of February. And Mr. Ujjwal is providing me at that date, rupees 5,000 for the fees. 5,000 for the fees is the present consideration for me. But what about Mr. Ujjwal? Ujjwal has already received his consideration in the past. It means before the date of contract. He already received the consideration in the month of September and October, and he entering into the contract in the month of February. So the consideration received before the date of contract is called past consideration. It's called past consideration. Clear? Next point is adequacy of consideration. Law says there must be consideration. Law says there must be a consideration, but it never says the consideration should be of the equal value. Consideration should be of the equal value. It is not the requirement. So consideration should be there, but consideration may be inadequate. Inadequate, not equal to the same value. Right? For example, I have a mobile phone. The cost is 1 lakh rupees. 1 lakh rupees. But if I want to sell for 10,000, it may be the valid consideration. It is the valid consideration. Okay, see the example. A agrees voluntarily to sell his motorcycle for rupees 2000 to B. It is valid consideration in spite of adequacy of consideration. A ने agree promise किया he will sell the car, he sell with the motorcycle for 2000 to B. It is valid even if the concession is very low, but it is valid contract. See one more example. Mr. X promises to sell a house worth rupees 6 lakh for 1 lakh only. House worth is rupees 6 lakh. He is agreed to make. He is agreed to sell for 1 lakh only. It is the perfectly valid contract. The adequacy of price in itself shall not render the transaction void unless the party pleads that that transaction takes place under coercion and influence of fraud. It means if consent is free without any pressure, free consent without any pressure, then if consideration is low amount, it is perfectly valid. Any doubt on these 2 points, please ask. Sir, if daughter is minor, then what would be the decision of the court in case of Chennai versus Ramaya? Neha, the rights and duties of a minor we will discuss in the next class. ठीक है, अभी क्या है वो थोड़ा सा गड़बड़ हो जाएगा, कंफ्यूजन क्रिएट हो जाएगा आप लोगों के लिए. Fifth point, I have Vishwas, I have told you fifth point that there should be consideration, but price and the consideration may be of less value. Come value ka, it may be the less value. What is the actual value, right? So see the example number 9 and 10. Please read carefully. Example number 9 and 10. Example number 2. चिनाया रमाया डिस्कस कर चुका बेटे मेरे ख्याल से. नहीं, चिनाया रमाया नहीं है. एग्जाम्पल 2 कौन सा है? एक मिनट रुकिए. एग्जाम्पल 2 तो वो था कॉलेज. दैट वाज द एग्जाम्पल की कॉलेज प्रोमिसेस द स्टूडेंट. दे आर मेकिंग द प्रोमिस. They are entering the contract. Sir, please, students, please obtain more than 95% marks. We will provide the job. This was the contract. Performance of what one is legally bound to perform. If you are giving the consideration additionally, which are for which he is already bound to perform. For example, a duty of the bank clerk is for providing bank services. For example, a duty for the bank staff is to provide the entries in the passbook. But when you reach in the bank, so the staff says ask you sir, for providing some money for making the entry in the passbook. It means if even you are making the promise for that, so bank officer is already bound to provide the service for making entries in the passbook. So he cannot claim additional on this point, even you have made the promise. अगर मान लीजिए किसी आदमी को ड्यूटी है करने की, उसके लिए उसे मेहनताना मिल रहा है, उसे कोई रेमुनेशन मिल रहा है, तो वो आप एडिशनली उस काम के लिए आप एडिशनल चार्ज नहीं कर सकता. इवन यू हैव एंटर्ड इनटू कॉन्ट्रैक्ट फॉर दैट, even that he cannot claim the additional amount. See the point. Performance of what one is legally bound to perform. Consideration not be the performance of existing duties. The performance of an act by a person who is legally bound to perform same cannot be considered for a consideration. See the example number 11. A promise to pay 1000 to a doctor over the fees is invalid. Suppose you approach the doctor and the fees of doctor is 500 rupees for consultation. When you reach the doctor, he says, I will charge you 1500 rupees. It means you are doctor saying that he will charge additional 1000 and you enter into the contract for that. In that case, doctor cannot claim additional 1000 from you if he is not providing anything additional to you. If his consultation charge is 500 rupees for all, so you can also liable to make the payment of 500, right? Consideration may be real and competent. It must be of the some value, actual value. A man promises to discover treasure by magic. जादू से खजाना ढूंढ दूंगा. This is not a transaction. This is not a consideration because it is illusory, imaginary है ये, right? Mr. Pinkle is asking, sir, if a father give permission to sell his house to son and father is live in Dubai, after selling house by his son getting 5 lakh and due to some incident the son is expired, the house agreement is 50 lakhs arriving. Told me 5 lakhs. 50 lakhs. After arriving father, he refused to sell. In this case, can buyer sue the father? No. If actually this question belongs to the unit number 9 agency. If son is agent for the father and enter into contract on behalf of the father will be bound by the contract of the son, right? See one more example on point number 7. A agrees with B to put the life in his dead wife. कि ए ने प्रॉमिस किया कि मैं आपकी मरी हुई वाइफ में जान डाल दूंगा, but this is not possible. So this is not a real consideration, right? Consideration should not be unlawful, immoral, or opposed to public policy. Should not be unlawful, immoral, or opposed to public policy. Unlawful means against the law. A asks B, I will give you 1 lakh if you kill C. Consideration is illegal. Immoral, bad character, offering bribes. A asks B, I will give you a bottle of wine if you do work for me. They're invalid because it is immoral. A asks B, I will purchase your car for something not certain. The contract is this is not a contract because the concession is uncertain. Now ask your queries up to this part. सर इस सीमेंट में जान है का मतलब क्या है? चलिए इस एग्जाम्पल को एक बार आ जाते हैं. एक्चुअली ये मैंने पिक्चर क्यों लगाई थी, मैं ये पॉइंट तो हिंदी बताऊंगा, टॉपिक से कनेक्टेड नहीं है. ए ने बी से कहा कि वो उसकी बी की मरी हुई वाइफ में जान डाल देगा. वो कैसे डाल दोगे जान? कि इनके मुंह में 1 चम्मच अल्ट्राटेक सीमेंट डालो क्योंकि इस सीमेंट में जान है. ठीक है, ये मतलब था केवल, बाकी कोई नहीं है. एनी क्वेरी ऑन दिस पॉइंट, मतलब अप टू दिस पॉइंट, so that we can start the super over 1. Can we start बच्चों? Please reply. Any query? Okay. Okay. One thing, please note all the students, including those students whoever it is first class. All the answer in one message only. सारे आंसर एक साथ भेजने, you should have to send all answer in one shot, right? First question. Consideration must move at the desire of promiser, promisee, promiser or any third party, both the promiser and the promisee. Second question. Consideration must move from the promisee, may move from the promisee or any other person, must move from the third party, may move from the promiser. Consideration in a contract may be past, present, or future, may be present or future, must be present only, must be future only. Which of the following are valid consideration? Past, future, present, past, present, or future. Where an act forming consideration is performance of existing obligations between the parties, it is regarded that there is no consideration, inadequate consideration, past consideration, none of these. An agreement made with free consent to which the lawful consideration is inadequate is void, valid, voidable, unlawful. So these were the questions for Super Over 1. Let's discuss the answers. Consideration must move at the desire of promiser. Consideration must move from the promisee नहीं है, may move from the promisee or any other person, right? Consideration in a contract may be past, present, or future. Which of the following are valid consideration? The answer is D. All are valid. Where an act forming consideration if the performance of existing obligation between the parties, it is regarded that there is. When act forming consideration if the performance of existing consideration, there is no consideration. An agreement made with free consent to which the lawful consideration is inadequate is valid. So let's check. Tanya Sharma. बिंदिया, पीनू, पीयूष राय, सलोनी कुमारी, नेहा। क्वेश्चन नंबर 4 और 6 एक्सप्लेन कर दीजिए, अभी देखता हूँ क्या है। फिफ्थ क्वेश्चन, अरे भैया 4 में क्या है? विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग आर वैलिड? सिंपल सा क्वेश्चन है बेटे, तीनों ही वैलिड है, पास्ट प्रेजेंट फ्यूचर। विच इज द राइट ऑप्शन? इज डी। इन द फिफ्थ पॉइंट, एग्जिस्टिंग ऑब्लिगेशन, कंसिडरेशन फॉर एग्जिस्टिंग ऑब्लिगेशन, अगर कुछ काम करने के लिए आप पहले से बाध्य हैं तो उसके लिए कंसिडर नहीं किया जाता, राइट। एंड सिक्स क्वेश्चन, विद फ्री कंसेंट बट कंसिडरेशन इज इनएडिक्वेट, इनएडिक्वेट, सफिशिएंट है, वैलिड है, राइट। एंड साक्षी, ठीक है। फिफ्थ नंबर समझ नहीं आया, चलो एक बार यहाँ आ जाओ फिर, ये रीड कर लो। If you are promising to pay the consideration for existing obligation, it is not a consideration. उज्जवल क्लियर हुआ बेटा? ओके, तो at this place we are having a break of 5 minutes. After 5 minutes we will rejoin. Okay, 5 मिनट का ब्रेक ले लीजिए बच्चों। Topic is topic is suit by third party to a contract. Basic rule is that a stranger to contract cannot sue is known as the doctrine of privity of contract. Doctrine means principle, privity of contract, privacy of contract. A stranger cannot file a suit, but for some cases, a stranger has a right to file the suit. They are the exception of the basic rule doctrine of privity of contract. First, you see example number 17. P has taken a loan from Q. P has taken a loan from Q. P sells his property to R and R promises to pay off the debt amount to Q. If R fails to pay, then in such situation, Q has no right to sue as R is a stranger to the contract. What is the example? P has taken a loan from Q and P sells his property to R and R making the promise to P that he will pay the liability of P against the Q. But if R refuses to make the payment or fails to make the payment, in that case, Q cannot directly claim from the R because there was no contract between R and the Q. The contract was between P and Q only, and P and R. There was no contract between Q and R regarding the payment of P to Q. Right? Any doubt on this point? Okay. So some exceptions to the doctrine of privity of contract means these are the cases, these are the situations in which a person other than party to contract can file the suit. Even a stranger to contract may enforce a claim in the following situations. May enforce the claim in the following situation. First is in case of trust. Trust means for this point, you first go to the example, then come to the provision. See the example number 18. Mr. X transferred his property to his friend in trust in favor of his son. It means Mr. X has created a trust and transferred all his property to the trust, and he has made his friend as trustee. Trustee means the person who will look after or take care of the property in the trust. ट्रस्टी कौन होता है? जो उसकी देखभाल करता है ट्रस्ट. ठीक है. So Mr. X, what Mr. X has done, he has transferred all his property in the trust and made his friend as the trustee, but trust in favor of son. Son means in favor matlab means the son will be the beneficiary. Son will be the beneficiary. It means the benefit of that property which is under trust, the benefit of the property which is under trust is for the son only. It means the trustee, the friend of the father is the trustee who is just taking care of the property. He has no right against the property. But on the death on the death of the Mr. X, on the death of Mr. X, friend refuses to give the benefit to the son. Friend has denied that I have no contact with the son and I am not liable to make the payment to the son or any benefit of the property to the son. But law specifically provides the provision that in such a situation, in the case of trust, the beneficiary, who is the beneficiary in this case? Son is the beneficiary. That beneficiary can claim the benefit even he was not the party of the contract, but he has right to claim the benefit. Right? So Mr. X, even now the son can claim from Mr. X friend, Mr. X friend, even if the son was not a party to the contract. Even the son was not a party to the contract. Any doubt on this point, bachcho? Any doubt in the example? So in case of trust, the person who is the beneficiary, who has the right to take the benefit, can claim from the trustee. Okay. The next point is in case of family settlement. In case of family settlement. See the example. A father has transferred all his property to his two sons on the condition that each of them will pay rupees 10,000 to their mother. Son refuses to make the payment by the word that what we are getting in return from the mother. So law says in the family settlement agreements, even the party who is not the originally part of the contract, but he or she has the right to recover any amount, can claim. So if the terms of the settlement are in writing, important thing is terms of the settlement are in writing. The members of the family who originally had not been the parties to settlement may enforce the agreement if they are discussed, if their name is mentioned in the agreement. Right? See the example number 19. एक बार रीड कर लीजिए बच्चों प्लीज. In case of certain marriage contracts, a female member can enforce a provision for marriage expenses made on the partition of Hindu undivided family. What does it mean? As per the Hindu law, as per the Hindu law, if a family is separated, it means when a female member enter into the family, she have the gifts, she have the gifts and the amount she takes in the family. But if there is a separation of the partition of the family, that female member can claim the expenses on her part. अगर उससे कुछ खर्चे हुए हैं तो वो क्लेम कर सकती है. फॉर द डेप्थ में नहीं जानना है, इतना सफिशिएंट है आपके लिए. Next point, in case of assignment of contract. Assign means transfer. When benefits under a contract has been assigned, benefit has been transferred, the assignee means transferee can enforce the contract. Suppose Mr. A has assigned his insurance policy to his son. मतलब Mr. I have taken an insurance policy and I assigned by agreement that the benefits of this insurance policy will be transferred to the son. Now son can claim even if he was not a party, because the original contract was entered between me and the insurance company, but I assigned the benefits to my son, so son can claim these benefits from the insurance company, right? सर अगर राइटिंग में नहीं हो तो क्या मदर पर्सनल एक्सपेंसेस के लिए सन से क्लेम नहीं कर सकती? नहीं, जो एज पर लॉ है उसमें क्लियर लिखा इन राइटिंग, तो राइटिंग की बात होती है बेटे. थर्ड पॉइंट देखिए, एक्चुअली in Hindu law, benefits are given to the female member. If the family is going for the partition, so law says a female member can enforce a provision for marriage expenses जितना खर्चा हुआ उसकी शादी के टाइम पर शी कैन क्लेम from his, you can say, from his father-in-law at the time of partition of the family. पॉइंट नंबर 2 में क्या डाउट है भाई? वो सिंपल सा था, इन सेटलमेंट हो रहा है, फैमिली सेटलमेंट. Go for the example. If family settlement is there, the party even not a part of the contract but a part of the consideration can claim. See, in case of estoppel by acknowledgement of liability or part performance thereof, that is when one admits the liability. It means if you admit the liability, you cannot deny afterwards. See the example number 21. L gives to Mr. M rupees 2000 to be given to N, and M informs N that he is holding the money for him, but afterwards M refuses to pay the money. N will be entitled to recover the same from the former. क्या example है? L gives money to M, which should be given to the N. M informs N that I have received money from L. The money is for you and I will give you. But afterwards, M cannot say, sir, why we should give the money? I'm not getting anything from, I'm not going to get anything from Mr. N. Because M has already admitted the liability, he is liable to make the payment, right? Estoppel means रोकना. He cannot be stopped in case of an estoppel by acknowledgement of liability. अगर आपने liability को acknowledge कर दिया, accept कर लिया, तो you cannot deny. अपने आप को रोक नहीं सकते उस liability से. सर व्हाट इफ एम ने एन को बताया ही नहीं कि उनके पैसे हैं? इवन दैट, because L has given the money to M, L has given the money to M to make the payment to N. Now, in such अगर हाँ, in such situation, if M does not inform N, then L can recover the money from M. If M does not make the payment to N. इन्होंने पूछा कि सर अगर मान लीजिए M ने N को बताया ही नहीं कि 2000 रुपये मिल गए हैं और M उसको देता नहीं है, तो L can claim the money from M, right? Contract made by the agent. Actually, the contract which are entered by agent on behalf of principal, the principal has all rights. Even he has rights and liabilities. Even he is not a part of the contract. See the example. P appoints A as his agent to sell his house. A sells house to T. Now P has right to recover the price from T. What it means? P is principal. He appointed agent A to sell his house. Now A sells the house to T, third party. Now P has a right to recover the price from T. Even the contract was entered by A. In even such case, the principal can recover the amount of price for the amount of sale price from Mr. T. Any doubt on point number 5 and 6? Please tell me. Tell me बच्चों, any doubt in point number 5 or 6? A can also recover from T. Yes, A also can recover from T. But if P has already recovered, A cannot recover. Payment एक ही बार तो होगा ना बेटे. Fifth point saying if you accept the liability Fifth point saying if you accept the liability, you cannot deny afterwards. Once you accepted that I am liable to make the payment, and that party confirms, okay, sir, and afterward you cannot deny, no, I will not make the payment because I'm not getting you and anything from you. This is not accepted. Clear with me, baat? Vishwas, is it clear to you? Okay. Now, important point. In case of covenants running with the land, suppose एक सेकंड बच्चों, एक मिनट, एक सेकंड बच्चों, इशू आया, एक मिनट दीजिए. अभी आ रहा हूँ बेटे. Covenants means restriction. अभी आता हूँ बेटे इस पर. सीधा एग्जांपल. Suppose that a land A have land like that as it has two parts. Suppose Mr. X has two lands, A land and land B, right? Mr. X entered in a contract with Mr. Y to sell the part A. Part A. Mr. X entered into a contract with Mr. Y to sell the part A with a covenant with the restriction in the agreement that this part A will not be used as a industrial purpose because part of the land is agriculture land. So Mr. X entered in the contract to Mr. Y to sell the part A with the condition that that part A land will never be used for industrial purpose because by using this A part of land as an industrial purpose will be harmful for part number B because it is used as agriculture land. What I said, I told you, Mr. X entered into a contract with Mr. Y. Mr. X entered into a contract with Mr. Y with the condition that I am selling you part A and on the condition that this part A will never be used for industrial purpose because it will be harmful for part B because I am using part B as agriculture land. Okay. Y said, okay, I promise you, sir, part A will never be used for industrial purpose. The agreement was completed, and now after the agreement, Y is the owner of part A and X is the owner of part B, right? After some time, Y decided to sell this part to Mr. Z. Y decided to sell this part to Mr. Z. Mr. Z. The condition which was decided in the agreement between X and Y. What was the condition? That part A land will never be used for industrial purpose. After some time, the land was sold to Mr. Z. My question before all of you, that whether Z can use this land for industrial purpose, whether Z can use this land, part A land, for industrial purpose. What is your opinion? बताइए जरा. अभी नया आपकी क्वेरी लेता हूँ बेटा मैं. Ron is saying he cannot. Ravi is saying no. Ujjwal saying no. Vishwas saying, sir, depend upon the Y agreement. Nothing was mentioned about the use in the agreement between Y and Z. Nothing was mentioned. Nothing was mentioned about the use, but whether Z can use this land for initial purpose. Very good. So most of you are answering the no. Most of you are answering the no. Kartik saying no. Neha saying, sir, yes. No. Law says the restriction that is called covenant. If running with the land से connected है, so that restriction is applicable to all the further owners. See what the law says. In case of covenant running with the land, the person who purchases land with notice that owner of land is bound by certain duties. Affecting the land, the covenant affecting the land may be enforced by successor of the seller. जो सक्सेसर है सेलर के, उन सब के ऊपर वो लागू हो जाए. See the example. See the example. One owner of the land having two land adjacent to each other. Adjacent means connected to each other. One was agricultural land. He sold the other land containing a condition that it can never be used for industrial purpose so as to protect the other agricultural land from pollution. Such condition is attached with the land, so whosoever is the successor of the land and has to abide by it. And such are called restrictive covenants, and all the successors are bound to it. Right? एक क्वेश्चन नेहा का था कि सर एक नेहा का नहीं था, किसी और का था कि सर अगर उसे इन्फॉर्म ना हो. देखिए एक बात समझिए, जितने भी लैंड के एग्रीमेंट होते हैं उनमें पुरानी डीड की पुरानी जो ओल्ड जिसने फॉर एग्जांपल ए परचेज द लैंड फ्रॉम बी and A now want to sell the C. So when A will sell the land, we will we will go through all the documents on which A purchased the land. ये ऑटोमेटिक है कि भैया अगर कोई बिक रहा है लैंड तो जो पुराने पेपर्स हैं वो भी सब चेक किए जाए. ठीक है. एक क्वेश्चन और था किसी बच्चे का. नहीं दिख रहा मुझे. Sir, if X stopping doing farming, that can Y sell that land for any purpose? Very good question, beta Ronit. Ronit is saying, sir, अगर मान लीजिए part B, if part B is not used for agriculture purpose and it was committed by Mr. X that this land will never be used in future for agriculture purpose, then the restriction will be end. Clear? Very good. Okay. So now 7 point is clear to all of you because many times question has been asked in your exams of this point only for 4 to 6 marks question. So if you have any query, please ask me on this point. Now the concept whether a contract without consideration is valid. In normal case, in normal situation, contract without consideration is void, but some exceptions are there. The general rule is that an agreement made without consideration is void, which was mentioned in section 25. But some cases, some exceptions are there in which a contract, even without consideration, is perfectly valid. First is natural love and affection. So law says are written and registered. Important thing is written and should also be registered as per the law of that area. A written registered agreement based on account of natural love and affection between the parties standing in near relation to each other is enforceable even without consideration. For example, I decided to gift my flat to my sister without any consideration on account of my natural love and affection for my sister. Whether sister can claim, yes, if this promise was written and registered as per the law of my city. Clear, Nibas? See example number 24. A husband by registered agreement promised to pay his earning to his wife. Held the agreement though without consideration was valid if it is written and registered. Written and registered, both things should be there, right? Compensation for past voluntary services, past consideration. Remember example मैंने दिया था उज्जवल का. So at the time of contract, Ujjwal was not getting anything, but he's making the fees for teaching, for guidance. So that is a past consideration for him. But some conditions are there. A promise to pay for past voluntary services be binding. The following essential factors must exist. The services should have been rendered voluntarily. यानी कि मैंने कोई प्रेशर में सर्विस प्रोवाइड नहीं की थी. It means the person providing services was not under any pressure. Next point, the services must have been rendered for the promiser only. It means I have made the teaching for Ujjwal only. If the father of the Ujjwal is making the promise for making the payment for Ujjwal's fees, I cannot claim because the promise for past circumcision should be by the promiser only. The promiser must be in existence at the time when the services was rendered. And the promiser must have been intended to compensate the promisee. The intention of the promisee क्या है कि he just compensating for services what he has received. सीधा बड़ा एग्जांपल एक बार पढ़िए एग्जांपल को. तो मैं क्वेरी देखता हूँ. Sir, where we can register it? देखिए, registered as per the law, as per the law means कोर्ट, तहसील से बोलते हैं, कोर्ट बोलते हैं, वहां पर रजिस्टर किए जाते हैं, प्रॉपर डिपार्टमेंट्स हैं रजिस्ट्रेशन के लिए. Example 25, P finds R and give it to him. R promises to give P rupees 1000. This is a valid contract. Example 26, Mr. X had helped his nephew for Mr. Y to fight a case in the court of law using the knowledge intellect. After Mr. Y won the case, he promised Mr. X to pay 10,000. It is a valid contract as it is compensation for the past services, right? Promise to pay time bar debt. I have discussed in the previous class what is the meaning of time bar debt. Time passed, but payment is not done. Suppose, first to come to the example, A is indebted to C rupees 6,000, but debt is barred by the Limitation Act. Means A has to make the payment of 6,000 to B to C, but but this agreement was void because being time barred. Time barred means 3 साल निकल गए, the 3 years has been passed, but no payment was demanded by Mr. C. So the loan becomes time barred. But after becoming a time barred, suppose after 5 years, a promise, a promise to Mr. C, sir, I will make you the payment of 5,000 for that loan which I have to make as full settlement. In this case, at the time of contract for 5,000, A is getting nothing. He is just making the payment of time bar debt that cannot be claimed by C. He is just making the promise to pay the time bar debt. So A is liable, but only if this promise is in writing. Only if this promise in writing. So where a promise in writing signed by the person making it or by the authorized agent is made to pay a debt barred by limitation, it is valid without consideration. See the example 27. A is indebted to C rupees 6,000, but the debt is barred by the Limitation Act. A signs a written promise now to pay rupees 5,000 final settlement of the debt. It is a written promise. It is a written promise. This is a contract without consideration but enforceable. क्या क्वेरी है बच्चों की? एक बार पढ़िए बच्चों एग्जांपल जरा. Sir, you told Tanya is asking, sir, the father of Ujjwal cannot make the payment. No, no, no. What I'm saying, if father of Ujjwal makes the promise to pay the fees in the month of February, I cannot claim. But if he want, he can pay. I have no right to claim. मैं उनसे क्लेम नहीं कर सकता क्योंकि सर्विस मैंने फादर को प्रोवाइड नहीं की थी. सर्विस वाज प्रोवाइडेड टू द उज्ज्वल ऑन. राइट बेटा? तानिया क्लियर हुई बात बेटा? एक बार टाइम बार्ड हिंदी में समझा दीजिए बेटा. टाइम बार्ड का मतलब होता है, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल मैंने आज 1 जनवरी को लोन लिया आपसे, त्रिलोक से मैंने लोन लिया 5 लाख रुपए का, और 3 साल तक ना त्रिलोक ने वापस मांगा ना मैंने दिया, तो 3 साल बाद मुझसे वो क्लेम नहीं. नाउ बिकम द टाइम बार्ड, राइट? सेकेंड पॉइंट में कंफ्यूजन है. सेकेंड पॉइंट क्या था बेटा? बाकी लोग पढ़ो इसको, जो बताता हूँ. एक सेक्शन 185 specifically provides that a contract for agency, it means the contract for working by the agent on behalf of principal may be without conciliation and it is valid. Suppose I have entered into contract with Mr. X to sell my house. I ask Mr. X, you are my agent, you can have right to sell my house, but I will not pay anything for you. He said, yeah, okay, it is a valid contract. Point number 2, कॉम्पनसेशन फॉर पास्ट, अभी देखा ना पास्ट कंसिडरेशन। पास्ट कंसिडरेशन का मतलब क्या था कि कॉन्ट्रैक्ट से पहले ही कंसिडरेशन मिल गया। अब ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट जो हुआ वैलिड है, वैलिड है, बट कंडीशन क्या है, ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट मैंने अपनी मर्जी से किया था, मेरे को कोई प्रेशर नहीं था आपको पढ़ाने का, उज्जवल को पढ़ाने का। सेकंड पॉइंट, मैंने सर्विसेज उस आदमी को प्रोवाइड की थी जो मुझसे पेमेंट करने की बात कर रहा है, और वो पर्सन की इच्छा क्या है कि मुझे वो पेमेंट केवल कॉम्पनसेट कर रहा है कि सर मैंने सर्विसेज दी थी आपसे तो उसका मैं आपको खमियाजा दे रहा हूँ, और वो उस समय दुनिया में होना चाहिए जिसको मैं सर्विस प्रोवाइड कर रहा हूँ, राइट। सो कंप्लीटेड गिफ्ट्स, in case of completed gifts, the rule no concession, no contract does not apply. It means if you are gifting anything and by gift deed proper, then it is perfectly valid. Charity, see the example. This question, the question is 2 or 3 times has been asked on this point, charity. First, you consider the example, then come to the provision. Mr. A promised the secretary of the committee of the temple to donate 1 lakh for renovation of that temple. On the faith of his promise, secretary has incurred some cost for renovation. Now secretary can claim from Mr. A even the contract was without consideration. What is the example? So Mr. A makes the promise to the secretary of a temple. Suppose take the temple name. Suppose Radha Swami temple, Radha Krishna temple. Mr. A promised the secretary of a committee of the Radhakrishna temple that, sir, please make the renovation of the temple. I will make you the payment of 1 lakh rupees. Okay. So on this faith of the promise, the secretary has incurred some expenses in the renovation. Afterwards, Mr. A denied that, sir, I will not make the payment because I am not getting anything returned. This contract was without consideration. In that case, contract is void. But law says, sir, this is a charity contract, and for your promise, on the basis of your promise, Mr. The secretary has incurred some expenses. So you are liable to make the payment. One question from your side should be there, sir, if the secretary has not incurred any expenses, has not taken any liability, even that A is liable to make the payment. The answer is no. Because the law says if promisee undertakes the liability, it means he has already undertaken some expenses, liability for some expenses. Then the person who is making the promise for donation is liable. Clear की बात? Very good. Any doubt in point number 5 and 6? Okay. Now the last point for today's class is bailment. Actually, bailment is will be discussed in detail in unit number 8. But at this place, I'm just giving the brief idea. The purpose of this point bailment at this place is that the bailment contract may be without consideration. Of what is bailment, you should understand. What is bailment? Bailment means to give something to someone for a specific purpose with the condition that after the accomplishment of purpose that something should be returned to the person who has given it. बेलमेंट क्या है? कोई चीज किसी को देना किसी उद्देश्य के साथ किसी पर्पस के लिए, और पर्पस पूरा होने के बाद वो वापस आ जाएगी। यानी हम उसे ओनर नहीं बना रहे हैं, हम कुछ समय के लिए तो उधार दे रहे हैं, ठीक है। उसके बाद पर्पस पूरा होने के बाद वो वापस हो जाएगा, राइट। तो बट बेलमेंट मे बी विदाउट कंसिडरेशन, मे बी विद कंसिडरेशन. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, योर फ्रेंड इज आस्किंग, योर फ्रेंड your friend is asking you, sir, please give me the bike for some time, and you have given him bike for that time without any charge. पॉसिबल है ना? आपके फाइल दोस्त ने कहा यार मुझे बाइक दे दे, मुझे यार जाना है, एक दोस्त के जाना है, मुझे एक पार्टी में जाना है मुझे, आपने बाइक दे दी, अब जब पार्टी हो जाएगी वो बाइक आप वापस कर देगा. दिस इज बेलमेंट. योर फ्रेंड हैज डिमांडेड द बुक फॉर सम टाइम. This is bailment because after some time the friend will return the book for you, and this may be without consideration. You have given the cloth for tailor for stitching purpose. Stitching purpose. This is the bailment for consideration because tailor will charge his service charges, right? So bailment may be without consideration, maybe with consideration. The reason for mentioning bailment at this point that the contract of bailment, even without consideration, is perfectly valid. उज्जवल सिंह सर, इसका एग्जाम्पल में फ्रेंड को कोई भी टाइम पीरियड तक अपना नोटबुक देना पढ़ने के लिए, वो वापस कर दे. एक मिनट. नेहा इज आस्किंग सर अबाउट पॉइंट नंबर 6 चैरिटी. Sir, if it not charity or donation between normal person, but one person owns liability, then is he can claim? Yes, definitely. अगर भैया चैरिटी नहीं है तो नॉर्मल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हो गया किसी पर्पस के लिए, कंसिडरेशन के लिए, परफेक्टली वैलिड. Sir, if X promises to give in charity point, Mr. Ronit is asking, sir, if X promises to give 10,000 and Y have expenses of 6,000, then how much money will X be liable to pay? 6,000 only. सर थर्ड पॉइंट एक्सप्लेन कर दो. थर्ड पॉइंट टाइम बार्ड मैं डिस्कस किया था बेटा. अगर कोई कॉन्ट्रैक्ट टाइम बार्ड हो गया है तो आप क्लेम नहीं कर सकते. फॉर एग्जांपल मैंने किसी से लोन लिया, सपोज 1 लाख रुपए का, 3 साल निकल गए, उसने मांगा नहीं, मैंने दिया नहीं, अब मुझसे क्लेम नहीं कर सकता क्योंकि वो टाइम बार्ड हो गया, राइट. लेकिन 5 साल बाद उसे लगा या मुझे लगा कि मैं पेमेंट कर दूं, तो वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट तब से चालू हो जाएगा. बट अगर मैं ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कर रहा हूँ टाइम बार्ड के लिए, इट शुड बी रिटन प्रॉमिस, राइट. एनीथिंग एल्स? Tell me, बच्चों, anything else? Any other query so that we can start super over 2? Ashwini is saying, sir, can you please explain second point, legal rules of consideration? Second point was the case of Chennai versus Ramaya. याद है? Which was saying that consideration may be from the promisee or any other person. Consideration may be direct or indirect. Right, Ashwini? What was the example? Concession was made by not by the maternal uncle, but by the mother. That was valid concession. Remember? कुछ clear हुआ बेटा? Ashwini, is it clear to you? Anything or any more query? So, Mr. Vishwas, any other query बेटा? Okay. If you have, I will mute after the at the end of the session. I will unmute you after the end of the session. But till time you can ask by in chat box, right, Peter? So shall we start super over 2? I think no other query in chat box. Agreement without consideration is valid when made out of love and affection due to near relationship, to pay time bar debt, to compensate a person who has already done voluntarily, all the above. Which of the following is not exception to the rule? Not. No consideration, no contract. Love and affection, compensation for past voluntary services, contract of agency, none of the above. Rahul is indebted to Samir. He sells trolley to Chaman. Chaman promises Rahul to pay all his debt to Samir. If Chaman fails to pay, Samir has no right to sue Chaman because Chaman is a stranger to contract, a stranger to consideration, both of the above, none of the above. The general rule is that an agreement without concession is void given in section 23, 24, 25, 26. An agreement is space if concession is furnished by stranger, void, voidable, illegal, valid. A person who is not a party to the contract but in whose favor some trust or charge under some specific property is created can sue, cannot sue, can sue with court permission, can sue with permission of the other parties. So this was the super over 2. चलिए चेक करते हैं. Agreement without concession is valid. So the answer is D because all A, B, C points are correct. Which of the following is not exception? Love and affection भी exception है. Compensation for past voluntary services भी exception है. Contract of agency is also exception. So the answer will be D. Rahul is indebted to Samir. He sells trolley to Chaman. Chaman promises Rahul to pay all his debt. If Chaman fails to pay, Samir has no right to sue the Chaman because Chaman is a stranger to contract. The general rule is that an agreement made without consideration is void given in section 25. An agreement is valid if concession is furnished by a stranger. Valid होगा ये. A person who is not party to contract but in whose favor some trust or charge under some specific property is created can sue. Let's check कौन से सही आंसर दिए हैं. मिस्टर कार्तिकेय अग्रवाल, नेहा, उज्जवल, सलोनी, बिंदिया, पालश्री, Khalid. So these were the person who given all the correct answers. I just prepared this summary for chapter number, unit number 2. Please go through the summary. लेट्स डिस्कस वन क्वेश्चन. एक क्वेश्चन डिस्कस करते हैं. ऑलरेडी क्लास हमारी लेट हो गई थी आज, पर एक क्वेश्चन तो मैं डिस्कस करूंगा आपके साथ अभी. एक प्रैक्टिकल क्वेश्चन. दिस क्वेश्चन वाज mentioned in RTP May 2025. Shri Shivai Temple Trust decided to get renovation of the temple under trust. For this purpose, the president of trust discussed the budget with the contractor. The contractor provided the budget of rupees 5 lakh. After gaining enough membership to support the funds required renovating the temple, the committee entered in a contract with contractor for renovation. The plan for the purpose structure was submitted and passed, but as the membership list increased, the plan so was expanded. Hence, the expected cost of construction is increased from rupees 5 lakh to 7 lakh. Now, increased amount of rupees 7 lakh state approved and obliged by the committee and the contractor. Renovation work was completed. The contract demanded the payment from committee. Meanwhile, the new members who promised to contribute did not turn up. Did not turn up. President had filed the suit against the members who promised to contribute. Member denied on the view that their contract with committee to contribute was without any consideration, hence invalid. State with reason whether committee will succeed under the provisions of Indian Contract Act. The question was simply whether the committee can claim the payment from new members. Yes or no? Yes. This concept to charity? Definitely yes. But how how you should make the presentation? Yes, very good. See the way of presentation. In first part, we are discussing the basis on which you are giving the answer. In second part, you are giving the simple brief of the case for which you are giving the answer. And last part is the which saying what is your answer. So this part, first part is the concern law provisions. This is facts of the case. And this is conclusion. Right? फटाफट से रीड कर लीजिए ताकि फिर मैं आप बच्चों की जो क्वेरी है अनम्यूट करूं. So this was unit number 2. Easy or tough? Easy or difficult? What is your opinion? Easy. Easy. Even contract act is whole contract act is easy. So आपके चलते इजी हो गया सर. थैंक यू. अब अनम्यूट करते हैं बच्चों को पहले क्वेरीज के लिए. सबसे पहले फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल विश्वास. विश्वास प्लीज अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ. अब
Yes, sir.
यस प्लीज.
Good evening, sir.
गुड इवनिंग बेटा.
Sir, your teaching is very smart.
थैंक यू.
Sir, and when in the exam, when we did not reminder that as per section 25,
Okay.
We can start with as per the Indian Contract Act
Okay.
1872.
Listen. Suppose I'm just all. Please listen, everyone. Suppose in the question For example, it was asked what do you mean by consideration? Define it. So the actual section of consideration is section 2 clause D, right? So
Yes,
actually you
sir.
have to mention in that way, as per the provisions of section 2 clause D of Indian Contract Act 1872, right?
Yes,
Now
sir.
what actually happened, I confused whether it is clause D or clause E. Just ignore. So you write like that, as per section 2 of Indian Contract Act 1872, right?
Yes, sir.
If I'm even confused whether it is section 2 or section 3, so you can mention like that, as per the provisions of Indian Contract Act 1872. Okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What I object ki you should not write any wrong section. You
Yes, sir.
mention the section benefit for marking point of view, but only when you are very much sure. Okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Vijay.
Okay.
Thank you. Ujjwal, ask your query.
हेलो गुड आफ्टरनून सर।
आप ujjwal कैसे हैं?
एकदम बढ़िया सर। आपने सारा आपने जो पढ़ाया सारा कंसेप्ट क्लियर है सर, पर छोटा सा
जी
एक छोटा सा डाउट है
हाँ बोलिए।
सर। मेरे को ये पेज नंबर आईसीआई मॉड्यूल का पेज नंबर 2.56 में डिस्क्रिप्टिव क्वेश्चन नंबर 2।
ये नहीं बन रहा था ना, मैं ओपन कर लूँ उसको। ठीक है, आईसीआई 2.56 बेटा है।
हाँ सर।
एक मिनट बेटा। हाँ, विच वन?
सर क्वेश्चन नंबर 2।
Mr. Sohan Lal sold 10 acres of agricultural land to Mr. Mohan Lal on 25th September 2022 for 25 lakhs. The property papers mentioned a condition amongst other details that whoever purchases the land is free to use 9 acres as per the choice, but remaining 1 acre has to be allowed to be used by the Mr. Chotelal, son of the seller of the carrying out farming or the other activity of his choice. तो ये क्वेश्चन तो हो गया लैंड कॉवेनेंट वाला, ठीक है ना। ऑन 12th October 2022, Mr. Sohanlal died, leaving behind his son and wife, not life, wife. On 15th October 2022, purchaser started construction of an auditorium on the whole of 10 acres of the land and denied any land to the son. Now Mr. Chotelal wants to file a case against the purchaser and get a suitable redressal. Discuss the above in the light of provisions of Indian Contract 1872 and decide upon Mr. छोटेलाल plan of action. क्या छोटेलाल इसे क्लेम कर सकते हैं? बताओ yes or no. बेटा उज्जवल,
हाँ सर।
तो क्वेश्चन आपने पढ़ लिया?
हाँ सर पढ़ लिए।
छोटेलाल, तो जब एग्रीमेंट हुआ तो उसमें कॉवेनेंट लग गया लैंड के रिगार्डिंग, राइट?
यस सर।
So in this case, what should be the answer? Covenant running the land on the basis of rules regarding the covenant with the land, Chotelal can claim, Chotelal can entitled to file the petition against the Mohanlal, right? आपका कहना ये है सर, केस चिनाया पर से रमाया लगा दिया
हाँ सर।
है ना, तो आप उसको लैंड कॉवेनेंट भी लगा सकते हैं, कोई इश्यू नहीं।
ओके सर, ओके, थैंक यू सर।
ओके बेटा। अर्जुन, आस्क योर क्वेरी बेटा।
Yes, sir. Sir, I have a doubt on the two main topics that are bailment and charity.
बेलमेंट एंड
Regarding the
चैरिटी, फर्स्ट
yes,
डिस्कस अबाउट बेलमेंट। एक्चुअली जब मैंने क्या बोला आपको, bailment is for mentioning the bailment at this point is just to share you that bailment without consideration is valid. But first of all, you should understand what is the meaning of bailment. So bailment, in bailment, what we actually done, we gave something with the condition that it will be back. I have given my book to my friend. I have given my book to my friend for reading purpose. So it may be without consideration. It is perfectly valid, right?
Yes, sir.
And in case of charity, if I promise for charity and on basis of my promise of charity, the person to whom I have made the promise has taken some liability, then I will liable to pay. Right? So this was the law. Now, what is your actual problem? Tell me on this point.
मतलब बेलमेंट नहीं समझ आ रहा है तो
बेलमेंट क्या है? देखो, आपने मैंने आपसे किताब मांगी पढ़ने के लिए, राइट? आप मुझे किताब, मैंने आपने मुझसे कहा सर मुझे 2 महीने की किताब दे दो आप पढ़ने के लिए।
हाँ,
तो मैंने आपको किताब 2 महीने के लिए पढ़ने को दे दी। ये क्या हो गया? कॉन्ट्रैक्ट जो हमारा हुआ वो क्या कहलाया? बेलमेंट।
अच्छा।
अब इस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में कुछ एक्सेप्शन है, पर जनरल पॉइंट में क्या कह रहा हूं मैं कि इस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में क्या हुआ कि अब आप किताब को मुझसे आप ले गए तो किताब को आपको 2 महीने वापस करनी पड़ेगी ना मुझे।
हाँ।
पर ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट वैलिड है और इस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट नाम क्या कहते हैं? बेलमेंट। अब बेलमेंट विद कंसिडरेशन भी हो सकता है। जैसे हमने घड़ी, मेरी वॉच खराब हो गई, सही करवाई, तो वॉच वाले को दी, रिपेयरमैन को दी हमने, वो मुझे करके वापस दे देगा, पैसे ले लेगा। तो ये क्या हो गया? विदाउट कंसिडरेशन। तो बेलमेंट का मतलब होता है कोई चीज आप किसी को दे रहे हैं किसी पर्पस के लिए और पर्पस के बाद वो चीज आपके पास वापस आ जाएगी। क्लियर?
ठीक है सर। हाँ, तो और एजेंसी क्या होता है?
एजेंसी में क्या होता है? एजेंसी में क्या होता है? जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल मेरे को घर बेचना है, मैंने आपको बोला, अर्जुन को बोला, अर्जुन मेरा घर बेच दो, आप मेरे एजेंट हो।
हाँ।
तो मैंने कहा आपको क्या पैसे चाहिए? आपने कहा सर नहीं सर, मैं आपसे कोई पैसे नहीं लूंगा, मेरा को कोई चीज काम करना, मैं आपको घर बिकवा दूंगा। पर ये जो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है, आप मेरे एजेंट हो गए, तो हमारा जो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है हमारे और आपके बीच में, वो क्या कहलाएगा? एजेंसी। राइट? तो ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट
हाँ।
अगर विदाउट कंसिडरेशन है तब भी वैलिड है। यानी कि अगर आपने घर बेचा तो मैं उस पर बाउंड हूं उसके नाम रजिस्ट्री करने के लिए। मैं ये नहीं कह सकता कि आपने घर बेच दिया, मैं नहीं चाहता घर बेचना। ये
ओके
राइट?
सर। तो ये एजेंसी तो सेल ऑफ गुड्स एक्ट में भी है, तो उसका क्या लिंक है ये?
एजेंसी सील ऑफ गुड एक्ट में भी है। नहीं, एजेंसी तो अभी आप पढ़ोगे यूनिट 9 में।
हाँ, तो
एजेंसी पढ़ोगे,
सेल ऑफ
है ना?
गुड्स एक्ट में भी है, तो क्या
हाँ, तो
कनेक्शन?
हमारा वही क्या, मैंने यहाँ पर्पस क्या है कि एजेंसी, आप जाओगे अलग डिटेल में जाओगे अलग बात है, पर यहाँ पर्पस क्या है कि अगर एजेंसी का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है वो विदाउट कंसिडरेशन है तो वैलिड है। हमारा मेन टॉपिक क्या था कि व्हाट आर द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट विच आर वैलिड इवन विदाउट कंसिडरेशन, राइट? तो एजेंसी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट अगर विदाउट कंसिडरेशन है तो वो वैलिड माना जाएगा। राइट बेटा?
हाँ हाँ, ठीक है सर, थैंक यू सर।
ओके बेटा। और कौन रह गया? और किसी क्वेरी है? बिंदिया, डू यू हैव एनी क्वेरी बेटा? नहीं है। विश्वास, यू हैव एनी क्वेरी?
Yes, sir.
प्लीज।
Sir, you told now that as per section 25, when I don't know, I will mention that lesson name means you told now when you know perfectly section number, you have to mention, or else you can mention the in this lesson. You explain that the wide doctrine validity contract that concept now.
I'm not getting what you want to say. Please ask me again, beta.
Sir, you explained that doctrine concept in starting.
Doctrine of privity of contract.
Yes sir, yes sir. That contract in this chapter, one concept is related to section 2 class H or section 2 class J, like that.
Okay.
In section H, it will come one concept, 6 points. That only you have explained.
Which point you are talking about? Tell me.
Sir, you told that when you don't know the section numbers, you don't mention that section numbers, but you have to mention section to class H, like that.
No. Achha, you are saying कि sir, I am sure about the clause, but I am not sure about the section number. Yes?
Yes sir.
So whether should I mention the clause? No. First you clause, first section, then subsection, then clause. If you are sure about the section, then all mention section. If you are about the sure about subsection but not section, please don't mention, because subsection is for another section also. What I'm saying, key section 2 subsection 1, it means
Yes, sir.
subsection okay, but section 3 also have subsection 1, so it will be confusion for
Yes, sir.
examiner. So just mention only subsection when you are very much sure about the section, right?
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay.
But section number is mandatory.
When mandatory is beneficial, but mention only when you are very much sure. But
Ah,
don't mention wrong section. Okay.
yes, sir. Sir, when I mention when we mention when we not mention the section numbers, we can mention we can start that the Indian Contract Act 1872
Yes,
then
as
only.
per the provisions of Indian Contract Act 1872, you can mention.
Yes, sir. Sir, max, how many
Mark.
marks will be allotted
No, no,
for
no,
this?
no, no. This is not a point. Is marks are specifically marks are allotted for section.
Um,
And, but if you mention the section, that will be benefit for valuing their answer. Actually, benefited you will be benefited by the examiner. You can say.
uh, sir, when we start the Indian Contract Act 1872 from there,
Mm.
the mark will be reduced because of he has not mentioned the section numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Marks will be
No,
reduced.
no, marks will be lower than if what will you will get by mentioning the section, right?
Yes, sir.
Clear?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh,
Cleared.
okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Oh, thank you, Bete. So, thank you so much, everyone. This was unit number 2, and tomorrow class we will discuss unit number 3. Okay, sir, class is over. आप क्लोज कर सकते हैं. Thank you, sir. Thank you.